Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back, Matthew Watty's channel. Today's video, we are going to be continuing on with the Chella Toys review. So this is actually video number 3. So I could consider this to be like Series 2, Part 2. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to fit all the figures in the last video. If I wanted to stretch it out to 45, 50 minutes, I probably could have. But again, I want these videos to be no longer than 30 minutes or so. 30 minutes is still an exceptionally long video regardless. So, again, with 5 figures remaining, this is the very last release from Chella Toys. These actually just arrived maybe a couple weeks ago. And there are some figures I mentioned in the last video. I said I was going to do upcoming releases. And because I ended the video before completing the last of Series 2, I never got to them. So, at the conclusion of this video, not only will I talk about these figures that are remaining, I'll also give you some of the updates of upcoming figures to be expecting, or if you need to go onto like Epic Toys website and try and place an order, I highly recommend doing so. There's some great figures still available. These 5 figures, there's really only one figure that I know of, and that is the King Haku character. The rest of these guys, I have no idea who they are. Guys like Blue Meanie, I mean, I've heard the name from like other commentators when they talk about the character and everything, but I don't know anything about his character per se. At least Haku was someone that I watched growing up, and so Haku, he was winner of King of the Ring. I could be wrong, but was he the first King of the Ring champion? No, he couldn't have been. I think Harley Race. Irrelevant. So he obviously won King of the Ring, just like Owen Hart, Bret Hart, Mabel. I'm trying to think who else. Big names that I can remember. Anyways, so obviously winner of King of the Ring, he became King Haku. Randy Savage, is that why he became Macho King? Makes sense. He does have one of the better figures, and a little bit too thin in the stomach and whatnot. Gave him some little bit more abs. I remember being a little more heftier guy, kind of like, who was it? Was it the Head Shrinkers? Man, there's just so many darn gimmicks out there, and it's hard to remember all of them. Even when you do research, your brain's like full of information. You can't just retain all that information. There's too much stuff. Again, another quality figure. I enjoy this one a lot. I should have bought duplicates so I could have presented one loose. I didn't think that far ahead. And it says Tongan Death Grip, but as we've established in the last video, the Chella Toys, the action feature is just added graphics to the card. They don't actually do anything like the Hasbro as far as a working function. That is Haku, and again, an overall quality figure. Next one is the Tonga Loa Ape Shift Pile Driver. Okay. Unless this guy went by another name, I do not know anything about this character. I can't tell you if this is a modern day wrestler or, like post 2000 type of deal, or if this guy was from like the 80s or something. Based on the look with Haku, I was thinking he was like a 1980s wrestler, but I don't know. Maybe not, because they give him the same body type as like Ethan Page and Nick Aldis and guys like that. So maybe he is a more modern day wrestler. Again, I'm not doing backgrounds on all these guys because it's just too much information to talk about. I just want to be able to review the figures themselves. If they actually had the features that we grew up with, that would have been so amazing, but I'm okay with what the figure is. It is a absolutely fantastic, aesthetically pleasing figure. It does have a solid fighting pose. The figures, they don't have to have the functions, like Hasbro. And in fact, in some respect, it might be better that they don't. Because to me, Hasbro will always be special because they have that feature. And later on, you got like Toy Biz and companies like that start putting like those little buttons on the back of the wrestlers. Push the button down and their arms go up and down, or they kick or something. I'm like, no. they're trying to emulate the Hasbros with that working action features, but they were just done poorly, and the action figures themselves were just trashy. So Hasbros really are your unique figures. So not giving them the function is quality, I think, to in some respect. You know, showing an action feature on the back of the card, even though these really don't, they kind of change the graphic. You know, that's something. Yeah, it doesn't have to have that feature. It would have been nice, but they're quality figures, regardless. The last three characters are tag team members from the Blue World Order, or simply BWO. And this was just, I believe this was the WWF, if I'm not mistaken, or was it AEW? I never watched AEW, so I don't know. Maybe it was but I'm thinking it was an All Elite Wrestling type of deal where they were kind of mocking WCW's New World Order. So, and, you know, New World Order was always in black and whatnot, so, you know, these guys, they dress up in Blue World Order. This guy's called Big Stevie Cool. Again, you got me on these guys. Everybody outside of Haku, I have no idea who these folks are. But you want to complete the collection, and of course, as you guys know, I love to have, if not the complete collection, at least close to it. That way I can make these videos for you guys, and you guys get to see some amazing figures. And hey, it might inspire you to pick up a figure here or there. Again, another super thin figure. A little bit small, I think. I don't know how big this guy is in real life. His figure's adequate. I mean, it's not a terrible figure. Is it the most pristine figure? No. Like I said, I like the bigger figures. Your giant haystacks and your Big Daddy figures. I like your Tom Billington, you know, Dynamite Kid figures, which are really solid. I like I like Adam Bomb's figures, of course. So those are some of my favorites. So Series 2, at least for the most part, did really quality work with the few figures here that are questionable releases. Big Stevie Cool, again, looks pretty awesome. And you follow that up with one of the better figures, and that is Blue Meanie. So I had Blue Meanie on a single card, or a double card, and I could have sworn we talked about him in a single card as well. And I could be wrong. I'm just trying to looking on the back shelf here. You know what? I think it was not Blue Meanie. I think it was Smirnoff. Chernoff. I don't know what he is, analyst or whatever. We looked at him on dual card with the Blue Meanie, and then we looked at his single card. So maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Still, man, I mean, he is a little big, heftier guy, so which makes it a fun figure. I grew up with your Hulk Hogan Series 1 and your Ultimate Warrior Series 2 and your British Bulldog from Series 4, right? So those were some of my more played with figures. I'm not opposed to the open hand pose like this. You know, the Hasbros, they're just, you know, a little slamming action feature. Now, these figures don't do that. Obviously, you kind of gravitate more towards your Series 3 Hulk Hogan with the closed fist and punching motion and everything. So as an adult, I still, because of childhood memories, I still covet these. But I obviously have preference with closed fists, just like most other collectors or, you know, kids or adults who wrestle these still. Oh yeah, there's still a lot of folks who grown adults, and you know, I try you know, having matches every now and then, just kind of goof off. It just doesn't bring enjoyment the way it used to as a kid. As a kid, I could sit there for 30 minutes or an hour and have myself a Royal Rumble or something. Nowadays, if I'm like, oh hey, you know what, these toys are just staring me in the face, I want to have a match. You sit there, you kind of like bat them around for a few seconds, and like, okay, I'm done. It just doesn't have the same appeal. But nostalgia, it's such a huge and important aspect of your life, just to have those fond memories. So it's important for me to have these figures. Last one we're looking at is called Hollywood Nova. Kind of reminds me of Macho Man a little bit with that fighting pose and whatnot. I would assume that his arms come down, but even if they do, his arms would probably look like that, which reminds me of guys like Goldberg or Seth Rollins from like the Mattel Retros. I think those figures might actually replace the Rick Rude Hasbro as like the worst action figure ever, because their arms are all in like this, right? They've got fused legs, horrible design. This one, a little bit better. I don't think his hands would come in quite as low or inward as those, but that's only if his arms come down. But they have to, right? I mean, you could show that his arms move here. I had a second figure of Nova. I had a second figure of Stevie Cool. I just sold them recently, and that was a huge sale for me to get rid of those two figures. So I was pleased with that, but I was strongly considering opening up the packages and having loose figures. Maybe in the future if I come across them cheap, but highly unlikely. Alright, so those are the last 5 figures from Series 2, and I also mentioned I wanted to look at, what time are we at? 11 minutes. Alright, so we'll probably have a 13 or 14 minute video maybe. Chella toys to be expected. So we know about the Greg Valentine, and he's gonna be your rock and roll version, your rhythm and blues Greg Valentine. So that's gonna be pretty awesome. You know about my custom Greg Valentine Hasbro carded figure, and of course, we have the Mattel Retros version of Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentine. At this point, this might be a little bit of overkill, but the thing with Chella Toys, I think Chella Toys might have actually had this figure out before the Mattel Retros released theirs. Problem is, with Chella Toys, when you pre-order these figures, it's like Zombie Sailors. You're basically sitting on them for forever. Zombie Sailors, you might be sitting on them for 8 months to a year. Chella Toys, I think it only takes around 6 to 8 months or something like that. You're going to be waiting a long time, and that's what sucks about pre-orders, as opposed to getting them on eBay and paying for them and getting them within 3 to 5 days, right? So, but the Greg Valentine is definitely one I'm interested in. I did pre-order that one. That one I will get eventually, whenever Chella Toys releases the next batch. We talked about Demolition. So on the back of some of these cards, you saw the Demolition tag teams. Axe and Smash look absolutely incredible. I love the Series 1 version from Hasbro, but these guys could be even better. So I'm really looking forward to that. I do believe I ordered them, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Because if those guys sell on Mercari or eBay when they're finally released, they're going to be up there like $200 or more. Even if you get them for like $150, I mean, ridiculous. When you can get them new from the primary distributor for like $50 for the pair. So I'm hoping I ordered them. I can't remember. It's too many orders, man. It's crazy. Killer Bees. I didn't even know Killer Bees was going to be released. I don't think I have them. So I don't think that they have pre-orders for the Killer Bees yet. Demolition, I'm not sure of. I think so, but I'm not positive. British Bulldogs, I did order those within the last few weeks. So we're going to get some more Davey Boy and Dynamite Kid tag team sets. Those are going to be in like the 1980s Blue Pants version. Legion of Doom, I did pre-order those, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be a really important one. These last few I didn't know were coming until recently. So Dallas Diamond Page, I saw the little, prototype of what that's going to look like. Not jumping for Dallas Diamond Page, but yeah, of course I'll pick him up when the time comes. Part of the collection, so I can't pass. Eddie Guerrero, I didn't really watch Eddie Guerrero wrestle, but from what I've heard others talk about, it makes it seem like he's one of the greatest athletic professional wrestlers ever. Yeah, his figure looked adequate. Not super flashy, so I'm not really dying for it, but yeah, it will get ordered. Men on a Mission Mo. Well, Pastel Toys, Grapplers, and Gimmicks already has a Mo figure released, right? And it's a pretty solid one. Last video, I also mentioned the sort of mailway Mo variant, where he's going to be in a different color scheme, and he's going to be in a factory sealed plastic baggie, kind of like your Hasbro mailway figures. But for him and Mabel, you're looking at like $150 for the pair, and just because it's a different paint scheme, and you're throwing them in plastic bags instead of the cards, and you're throwing in an extra $100 on top of what they normally cost, I think Hasbro Toys are trying to market it as mailways for that purpose, because we know the value of your Hogan and Warrior and Undertaker mailway Hasbro figures in original baggie. So I think they're being smart there. Having that one, I'm not looking forward to having to pay more money for a Chella Toys version of Men on a Mission, or in particular the Mo character. But I have to. I mean, I want a complete collection, and I can't possibly miss out on any of the upcoming figures. But what have I talked about in the past? Last video, I'm trying to keep my purchases strictly based on what I sell on eBay. If I sell this figure for $100 on eBay, and I got $100 in my eBay account, I can go out and buy that $50 item. And what will I do? I'll transfer $50 out of my eBay funds into my checking account, make a quick $50 payment from my checking or savings account towards a credit card. Bam, it's covered. If I buy it off of eBay, I still choose to do the credit card purchase because, cash back. That's the only reason. So, Greg Valentine, Demolition, Killer Bees, British Bulldogs, Legion of Doom, Eddie Guerrero, Men on a Missions, Mo, Dallas, Simon Page, and the one I missed, Bobby Heenan. Actually looking forward to a Bobby Heenan. Why? I've said it in the first video. I feel like the managers or your TV personalities, your commentators, etc., interviewers, whatever you want to call the guys, they always have some of the best figures, and I'm really looking forward to having another Bobby Heenan to add to the collection. So far, Bobby Heenan-wise, obviously the LJN plus original plus variant, the carded figures, and the bendy. And I have some Bobby Heenan custom LJN figures as well, but I'm thinking, and I don't even think I have any Jakks Classic Superstars of Bobby Heenan, so I think that's pretty much it. So it'd be nice to add another Bobby Heenan figure to the collection. Alright, so guys, got a little message popping up here. That is the last of the figures that I have for Chella Toys. Again, I do have a playlist. When you visit my channel, you can go to the playlist, select the appropriate folder. Every time I get new figures, I will add them to the assigned playlist. That way it's for easy viewing and whatnot. You want to go back and watch all of my Hasbro reviews, or if you want to go back and watch all of my tournament videos in order, they're in that playlist. Just select the folder, you're good to go. I mentioned it before. Occasionally, I will take one of the folders is called non-channel related videos, and it's just some of the videos that I either think is super awesome, great martial arts videos in there. There's a lot of comedy videos in there, so if you guys think of any videos that you've seen that I might enjoy, that would be great to add to that particular folder. Funny videos or whatnot. Definitely send them my way. I'll give them a check out, and hopefully they'll be able to be added to the folder. I'm trying to get that folder as big as possible as well. And it's pretty awesome because when you click on a video, it might interest you to check out someone else's YouTube as well. Again, I'm not here just for myself, and I'll give shout outs to other people too if necessary. I'm not opposed to doing that. I don't know why that's a thing on YouTube where people are afraid to recommend other YouTubers or something. It's not going to hurt yourself, Alright guys, I'm going to shut up now. Thank you so much for watching as always. You guys were all the best, and you guys keep me motivated to make these videos. So, you know, your subscriptions, your viewers, your comments, it really does mean the world to me. And now that I'm done with the Chella toys, I'm looking at zombie sailors. I did get in the last 5 figures, last 6 figures technically. I thought I ordered a blue and black strap Andre. I only got a black or a blue strap Andre in, so I'm still hoping the black strap comes in. Right now, we're only looking at like two series. So I can either do heels and faces next, or I could do the review of all the Mattel retros. I'll probably do the Mattel retros. Mattel retros will probably be easier because most series were only, actually all series were only 4 figures per. So I could probably knock out like 2 or 3 videos in one sitting, and that way all 11 series plus the new releases, another 3 or 4 waves of Mattel retros will be able to get knocked out. And if I knock those out or send those up every 2 days for posting, I can do the Mattel retros and get them all done in about a month. Or, you know, have them all posted within a month's time. So, alright guys, thank you again for watching, and I will talk to you in the comments and see you in the next video. Goodbye everybody.